Hey, good morning, good morning. Oh, I still had my microphone, my earbuds plugged in from last night. We'll take a moment here. Good morning, Satnam. Just making sure my audio is working correctly. I still had my earbuds plugged in from our full moon circle that we did last night. And that's not going to work for class. So, getting this set up. Today's practice, as always, in Kundalini, we will need some type of support to be seated upon today for the meditation. So whether that is a bolster, a blanket, a pillow, a meditation cushion, a block, whatever you have on hand, whatever you've been practicing with is more than fine. We just want a little bit of lift so that we can help to create that space in keeping the posture lengthened throughout. So what I had planned for us to talk today about is liberation. And some of these messages are coming from our last night's full moon circle where we talked a lot about this. We talked about the different energies that are coming in right now from Cancer and Capricorn and how they are facilitating these huge changes and these huge upgrades for us that we see every 6 months with this eclipse energy. And there's a lot to be said for analyzing the structures that are in play right now, the structures that we have in our life to support us on all levels, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And there's a lot to be said for integrating all aspects of our personality. And that's what Cancer really wants us to look at, because Cancer is a water sign, and there's a lot of emotions and a lot of feeling and a lot of power and a lot of movement in that. And so we're talking about the balancing between those energies. So with structure, how can structure be limiting and how can structure keep us bound? How do we find a good middle road for that? For our expression, how do we either fully lean into that full expression, or how do we create boundaries in places where maybe that expression is not quite safe or doesn't need to be shown to someone that we don't quite trust, right? So what I would invite for you to reflect on today is all of the different aspects of yourself that make you up, because as much as we consume information about people, especially now with COVID, in-person interactions are a bit rare and to be cherished. So we're seeing a lot on social media of people, and it's very two-dimensional. It's very like, here is what I'm presenting to the world. It's like the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much underneath that we don't see. So we may present a certain aspect of ourselves, or we may see people who are presenting one certain aspect of their self, one certain identity. And we all have many identities, whether that is the mother, the father, son, daughter, artist, lover, warrior. You know, the list goes on and on. And if you've had enough experience in this life, or you've played enough roles, you kind of know that all of your different personalities, all these different aspects of yourself, they're all worthy of being expressed. And there are all different times when those versions of ourselves or those parts of ourselves want to be expressed. So I would invite you to reflect on those things, reflect on which part of yourself is kind of screaming to be seen right now, screaming to be noticed? And what support systems do they need so that we can feel liberated and in turn facilitate the liberation of others? Nelson Mandela said, "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's own chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." And that's what we're trying to do here with our work today. We are trying to work through these ways that we keep ourselves bound so that in turn we may further understand and respect the birthright of everyone to be free and to feel liberated and to be supported and take the steps towards making those things be seen. So when you're looking at those things and you're looking at your structure, there may be things that you are looking at when we're setting those boundaries of what you have to say yes to and what you have to say no to. And so a couple of the things that came up last night that tend to be pretty rampant in our culture, that's very much productivity obsessed, very much perfectionism obsessed, very much comparison obsessed and scarcity obsessed and being tired and certain all of the time. Sort of the magic of saying yes to something is that we're saying no to something in return. And at the same time, when we say yes to something, we're saying no to something at the same time. So, for example, if we say no to what people think and caring about that, then we say yes to authenticity. And if we say yes to more laughter and more song and more dance in our life, then we're saying no to that need to always be in control. If we say no to perfectionism, we can say yes to more self-compassion. So which pieces of those self needs to be noticed today? Which part of that self is really longing to be seen and have center stage? And how can you bring that more out today? Not just on the mat, but outside of here where the real work happens. So we've got, I've got my hair up today. We've got a bit of a strenuous one since we've got full moon coming up on Sunday. It's a great time to work out any of those lingering feels that may be happening. So you know how we roll. We're going to be working with the lower triangle today. We're going to do some Sat Kriya workout to get all of that energy just transformed, lifted up, and into a higher place. And then we're going to return to another favorite, our Antar Nod meditation for the full moon. So it's the really lovely one that we do with the full lotus and then goes back down into reverse prayer. So really potent practice for you today, hopefully to facilitate some movement, some release, a space for you to be more in line with your liberation for this eclipse season. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll bring ourselves to a seated cross-legged position just to begin settling in, connecting with our body, connecting with this moment and this breath. Allowing that gaze to come inward and upward towards the brow, the third eye. Beginning here to just connect to your breath as you mentally scan your body. Inhaling deeply, we feel the ribs widen out to the side, creating more space, more expansion in the body for more of our breath. On the exhale, we release tension. Feel that spine elongate, lengthening the body. Noticing how the breath allows us to take up more space where we may have been wanting to shrink ourselves. Focusing on making the breath as fluid and as smooth as possible between the inhale and the exhale. And again, just witnessing how the breath shows up in the body. Away from any responsibilities of the day. Showing gratitude to yourself for showing up for this time. To meet in union, mind, body, spirit. To listen to what your body has to say. This moment, this breath. As we work with the water energy of Cancer today, may you remember that you are as deep as any ocean, as wild as any river, and as still as any lake. Notice now where your body is connected to the ground, where you feel supported in your foundation. And maybe the sides of your foot, a shin, a knee, the sit bones under your bum. Once you've got that stability, use that foundation now to rise up through the rest of your posture, lengthening all the way from the base of the spine up towards the crown of the head. Feeling the chest lift. Keeping the chin slightly down and back. And focusing that gaze at the third eye. On your next inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, roll them down and back so that they sit just a little lower than before. From here, begin to rub the palms together at heart center, creating a little bit of activating energy. And take a moment here if you'd like to set an intention for today's practice. When you have that one phrase, that mantra, that color, that image, however it appears to you, find stillness at heart center by pressing the palms together just slightly. Feel the knuckles of the thumbs against the chest. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudevaya Namo. Suspend the breath. Apply Mulband. So squeeze the anal sphincter, sex organs, pull that energy and visualize it radiating from the base of the spine, spiraling up all the way through the crown of the head. And before it's uncomfortable, exhale through the nose. Allow the hands to come down either to the tops of the knees or to the ground if you need some more grounding energy. Keep the gaze inward and upward at the third eye. And take a moment here just to check in with the space that you've created. What type of expansion or liberation have you already created in your body just by projecting your voice? Very good. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Come into a space. You can either stay on top of that cushion if you were on it, or just come back to an unsupported cross-leg position for a bit of warm-ups. So we're going to warm up the hips, warm up the lower back, get a little bit of balance going on before we move into the Kriya. So let the hands come to the tops of the knees, and we're just going to begin rotating the heart space around the lower spine. Getting a big inhale as we rotate forward, exhale as you rotate back. Keeping that gaze inward, focusing on your own pace and your own range of motion. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause in the center and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. So inhaling forward, exhaling back. Maybe noticing if there is any difference between these two sides. Slowly begin to make your circles smaller and smaller. As you come to a neutral space at center, inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Very good. And allow yourself to come lying down onto your back on your mat. I'm going to do a little bit of leg lifts to get a little bit of stretch in that lower, in the hamstring. Because we're going to be doing, in Sakriya workout, we get a little bit of frog pose going on, and you definitely want to stretch the legs out before then. So if you need to, let your hands come underneath your hips if you need some more support for your leg. And what we're doing here is we're going to alternately lift the legs on the inhale up towards 90 degrees, exhaling down. Inhaling up with the opposite leg, exhaling down. Again, moving at your own pace, using your own range of motion.
Keeping that knee bent as much as possible if you need to. So if you're getting to like about here and there's too much stretch, too much torque, give yourself a little bit of a bend if you need to. These leg lifts are really good for the digestion. They're good for that lower root chakra. We're focusing on our foundation, our stability, elimination, what we're able to let go of. This is really going to help with getting that foundation. Be mindful of keeping the muscles on the face soft here. Mindful of where you're carrying tension and where you're supporting your body. So, is the support coming from the navel point? Is your lower back attached to the ground here? What is going to be the most sustainable way for you to support yourself today during these movements and during these expressions? Just a few more on each side. Okay, inhale deeply, bring both legs up towards 90 degrees. Exhale completely, allow the legs to come into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Rock from side to side here. Give that lower back some love. And from here, come back to seated. So you can either rock and roll along the spine a few times, or you can roll over to one side and simply push yourself up with your arm. Get a little bit expansion in the chest before we move on to our Kriya today. So allow the hands to come on top of the shoulders, fingers in front, thumbs in back. Twisting from the rib cage. We're going to inhale as we move left, exhale as we move right. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, the hands come down to the knees. You can choose your favorite mudra if you'd like. And again, just take a moment here. Allow the breath to regulate. Let it do whatever it would like. Keeping that gaze inward, witness the space that you've created. Feel how the breath shows up in the body. Feel how the heart is pumping through the body. From here, begin to guide the neck in upward rotations, using the nose to guide yourself. Upward on the inhale, exhaling down. It's getting some movement in there, opening up the throat chakra. Most of the systems within the chakra system, they kind of work like a buddy system. So our sacral chakra is connected to the throat in the ways that we feel the need to express ourselves, the way that we feel this creativity, the water within us. It's very powerful to be able to realize that as we speak our truth and speak our needs. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause at the bottom of your rotation and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. So inhaling up, exhaling down. How has your creativity been wanting to be noticed? And how can you use your speech to bring that into the real world? Slowly begin to make your circles smaller and smaller until you get to a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Very good. So we'll be working out of the Aquarian Teacher manual today, doing South Korea workout. Trying to get some more space here, and I think actually need to just give us more space. There you go. Okay. So for South Korea, I like to get that rolled up blanket, get some type of a cushion to put underneath my knees. Not going to go into too much of explaining today. If you take a look at some of our earlier videos, I go very in depth into South Korea and how to do it. So for today, I'll say just stay focused whenever we're moving between South Korea and frog pose. Stay very focused on that Capricorn energy, on that structure, on where your foundation, where your support is coming from to support you through these expressions today. So we'll keep the hands with the index fingers pointed up. The fingers are interlaced, thumbs are crossed, whatever way feels most natural to you. Arms are up overhead. There's no in the elbow. And the chin stays tucked as the heart stays lifted. And we will chant Sat Nam. It sounds like But Mom. And that means truth is my identity. And you're really going to feel it with the navel pumping here. Begin when you're ready. Sat Nam, 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 Sat Nam,
Exhale. Inhale deeply. Apply Mul Bandh. Squeeze from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head. Exhale. Let the arms come down. Let yourself come down off of the feet. You can take a moment here to stretch the legs out if you'd like. You can take a moment here to just stay in this cross-legged position. Or take a moment now just to rest. Very good. Allow yourself to blink your eyes open. Come back into that rock pose, seated above the heels. We are going to repeat exercise 1. Fingers interlaced, index fingers pointed up, chin down, chest up. That gaze is at the third eye. The armpits are facing in. Satnam. Satnam, 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 Nam sat 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 sup, 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 sup. Quick exhale, deep inhale. Apply Mobund. Squeeze as you visualize that energy rising from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head. Exhale, let the arms come down. Again, bring yourself off of your heels. Allow yourself to come into a cross-legged position. We're going to take a few moments here for some long, deep breathing. The arms will come behind the neck, just interlaced. Keeping the elbows out, so being mindful how the elbows may try to drift inward. We want to work on keeping this plane here, keeping the chest open. And just breathing here. The stretch may feel quite intense. Focus on how you can soften into it. You're doing great. Stick with it. Just breathe through this discomfort. Thirty more seconds. Very good. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Let the arms come down. Let yourself come lying down onto your back. Take a few minutes here just to rest and integrate. So let your breath return to normal. Let it do whatever it would like. And just take a moment here, relaxing in your support.
Very good. Okay, deep inhale. Bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. On the exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Maybe give yourself a little rock from side to side if you feel you need it. And from here, come back into that seated position. From here, we'll prepare for frog. And the way that we do frog is by being in a squatting position. The feet are faced out at a 45-degree angle with the heels touching. Hands in front to support. This will be the exhale position, coming back down. On the inhale, we push up with the toes. We bring the head inward. We lift, keeping the heels lifted. If you need more support here, you can always place that same rolled up blanket underneath the heels for a bit more support. So it looks like this. We're inhaling, bringing the head down and forward. Exhaling, coming back down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Okay, so the remainder of the Kriya today will be going back and forth between Sat Kriya and frog. So from here, move at your own pace. We're going to do 13 frogs. And when you're done, you can simply lift into it, move those heels away from each other, and just come into a forward bend. Okay? So here in the squatting exhale position, heels together. Begin 13 frogs. Once you're in this forward fold position, you can allow yourself to come down onto your knees slowly, setting up to be in rock pose again for Sat Kriya. Hands up overhead. Index fingers pointed up. And begin. Sit, no, 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 sit. Sit, 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 quick exhale, deep inhale. Apply Muband. Squeeze and visualize. Exhale deeply. Come down out of the posture. Out from off your knees. And take another moment just to relax. Check in. Allow the breath to regulate. Feel your heart pumping through your body. Okay, let's come out of that rest. Move back into our squatting posture for frog pose. At your own pace, 5 frogs. Begin. When you're done and complete with that forward fold, again, come down onto your heels for our next round of Sapkriya. On top of the heels, fingers interlaced, index fingers up, chest lifted, chin down, gaze at the third eye. Sat, nam, 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 sat, nam. Quick exhale, deep inhale. Apply Mudband. Visualize that energy from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head. Exhale. Let the arms come down. Let yourself come back into that squat for frog's pose. 7 frogs at your own pace. Really making sure that that head is coming all the way forward in that motion. Just like the head would come all the way forward on a forward bend. Coming back down now to the tops of the heels. Back into Sakriya. Sat nam 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 sat nam. Quick exhale, deep inhale. Apply Mudbandh. Squeeze, use that visualization. Allow all the energy to rise. Exhale, bring the arms down. Back into squatting. Heels lifted. 5 frogs. Again, coming down, back into rock. Final round of Sakriya. Sat nam 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 sat nam. Quick exhale, deep inhale. Suspend the breath, apply Mudbandh. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze all the muscles. Visualize that energy radiating from the navel point, moving all the way out, all the way up, even through the tips of your fingers. Exhale, remain in the posture. We're going to inhale one more time. Suspend the breath, apply Mudbandh. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. One more time. Exhale completely. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath, apply Mudbandh. Exhale, let the arms come down off of the posture. Whew. You made it. So we're going to move now into our meditation. And
we are going to do the Antar Nod meditation. And again, it is a mudra that utilizes the lotus. So we begin here with the solar plexus, the hands together. As we lift up with the hands, when we get to heart center, we will begin to allow the lotus to bloom. So the lotus comes in with the fingers touching and the pinkies touching. So prayer pose, when we get to heart center, the lotus begins to bloom until we get to the third eye. And that we begin to move downward in reverse prayer. And we're just doing this upward and downward motion. And the mantra is Sare Sa Sa. And we say that 3 times. Sare Sa Sa, Sare Sa Sa. Sare Sa Sa Sarang. We really want to hit the tip of the tongue to the top of the mouth. So that's going up like this. Sare Sa Sa, Sare Sa Sa, Sare Sa Sa Sarang. Then we tap into the creativity. Harare, hara hara, harare, hara hara, harare, hara hara, hararang. So it's talking about this infinite totality exists, this creative consciousness exists, and how can we merge with these two? So Har is H-A-R, but it's sort of like H-U-D in the way that you'd say it. Again, that tongue is flipping against the top of the mouth. You can do this from anywhere from 11 to 31 minutes. Today, we're going to do it for 3 minutes. And I'm using Niranjan Kaur's version. You can find it on Spotify, Spirit Voyage. So we will begin. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 hare. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa saram. Hare 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 Hare.
Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa sare. Hare 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 hare. Sare sa sa sare sa sa sare sa sa sare. Hare 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 hare. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And allow yourself to come lying down onto your back for deep relaxation. So we can integrate all the work that we've done today, using that Antar meditation to rise and let that part of us that wants to be seen bloom, but also re-transforming and letting go and bringing back to the earth what we no longer need to carry. So let your feet spread as wide as your mat. Let your hands come away from your body, hands facing up. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. And begin to relax your breath as you relax into your support. Relax the tops of your feet, the ankles, calves and knees. Relax the thighs. Relax the hips. As you relax the breath, relax the belly. Relax the lower back. Relax the rib cage and the shoulder blades as you sink deeper into your support. Relax the hands. Relax the wrists, forearms, and elbows. Take one more mindful moment to make sure that the shoulders are away from the ears. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw so that there's space between the teeth. The muscles on the face. The eyes behind the eyelids. Brow. Forehead. Scalp are all at ease as your head rests gently against the earth. Take this time now to fully integrate and celebrate all the work that you've done as your body rests and heals its 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. As you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Begin to invite tiny movements into your fingertips and toes. Begin to rotate the hands around the wrists and the feet around the ankles in all directions. On your next inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. On the exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug and rock from side to side. Giving those kidneys and those adrenal glands just a little cue. Everything's okay. From here, begin to rub together the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. Rub the tongue along the roof of your mouth, stimulating the body's meridian points and energy centers. And from here, again, you can either rock and roll along the spine to come to seated, or simply find a way that works best for you. So with that, we complete today's practice. We will close out with the Long Time Sunshine song. So take a moment here to connect back to your intention today for today's practice.
Take a moment to think of yourself and any last minute peace and blessings you would like to send to yourself. Any peace and blessings you'd like to send to anyone in your life that you know, anyone you have yet to meet who could use some extra love along the path to liberation. So with that, take a deep inhale. Exhale consciously. And inhale to sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be holistically in union. May we embrace and express the many facets of ourselves along this path to liberation. Sadhana. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I will be sharing a graphic on my Instagram later at Hippie Rebel Creative, just showing some of those guideposts that we were talking about. The guideposts to wholehearted living, as Brene Brown describes them in her first book of The Gifts of Imperfection. There's a little graphic that shows what we are letting go of and what we can cultivate. So when we say no to one thing, what we are really saying yes to with creating those boundaries. So peace and blessings. Until next time, Satnam.